Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies.
Yes, sir. Ski.
Boo, 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 boo. Y'all know what it is, man. It's your host with the most, Dad Lee. Got my boy Ray with me, as always. And we coming at y'all with this new Mike and Earl POMPEII Utility. Little double album, little double feature, you know?
Yes, sir. Ski.
Fuck y'all talking about Doomsday, bro. We on POMPEII and Utility, bro. Surf Gang. We in this bitch, bro. Man, we were so excited to talk about this album. This is one of my favorite albums of the year, believe it or not. Highly anticipated. When them singles came out, they were on repeat. Not your usual lead singles, you know. Nothing that's going to top the charts, nothing like that. But a little insight into what, Mike and Earl got going on. When we got the full album, we got full context, right in line with everything else that's going on. What was it like for you, bro? First listen.
I mean, this is their first collab project, so I was like, oh, where are we going? The singles, like you said, I was like, okay, these are cool. They dropped 2 singles at first, and one of them were like both tracks off their each part. Because basically, Mike has the first part, Earl has the second part. And that's one thing that I was looking into when the album's coming out. I'm like, I noticed later after that, they dropped a track where they were both together. And it was like featured. Mm-hmm. It was like featuring Mike, featuring Earl. So I'm like, okay, well, a lot of these tracks don't have that. So that means they're going to be separate a lot. And when you get the album, you see that. It's like their own albums. But it's like a group project. 2 artists who, at one point, I mean, they weren't a group before, though. But they obviously have done a bunch of tracks together. People have been wanting this album. Yeah, people have been wanting this. This is like, people have been saying like they should drop an album together. And they did it, but they did it in a different way, right? I feel like this is kind of not what maybe people were expecting.
I think with collab albums, like when you do a collab album and you guys are like working back and forth, it really helps if you're like different sounding artists. You can kind of break the monotony. You can go high, you can go low, some kind of duality, right? But Earl and Mike, since they've been on this path together, it's almost like you can't put them on the same track every track. They're going to be indistinguishable to some degree. I mean, maybe for me and you, we both are very familiar with these artists. It's going to be easy to tell, but somebody who's just listening, I don't think they're going to get the full scope of it. So I think this is actually a pretty smart way to do it for these two. Start with one artist, go to the other, have a little bit of crossover. I mean, we've seen them before together. It's not anything new. I think this is actually a pretty good strategy. My one complaint with this strategy, with having it being a double album front to back, is I feel like the front artist gets highlighted more than the second one. I feel like Mike definitely had the spotlight, whereas Earl was kind of in the background. And same kind of goes with their delivery. I feel like Mike was more on top of it. Earl was kind of in the background. And it wasn't like, conducive to rating both the albums properly. I feel like I really, really liked that Mike album. And then I got to the Earl part. It's not like I was underwhelmed, but it was something so different that it didn't feel the same.
And I think that goes into what we're saying. They obviously, I think, tried to, and maybe this will come out later. Maybe we're not getting the full thesis, the full topic. I do get that it's similar vibes, but it's different. It almost made me appreciate it because it was like, okay, y'all did something that I didn't expect. Because I was expecting more collab tracks. I'm going to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see, because Mike's been on a roll and Earl has been on a roll. I mean, people have been saying online, a more positive mindset. For Earl, it's like, okay, it's almost like you're OG, you're a legend. And on here, it's almost like he acknowledges it sometimes. Like, oh, I've been in the game for years. Like, I've been doing this for a while. Like, it is what it is, right? With this, it's almost like he went back. And I do think first it did throw me off way more, but then kind of went back. And I was like, okay, like, I see what he was going for. But Mike did kind of like show out more almost because he had more upbeat tracks. Okay. It did make it easier to lock in with him.
Do you think if it was the other way around, do you think if Earl came out first, do you think you would have maybe resonated with it more?
I think maybe, but I also think that Earl did seem like he did what he wanted to do. I mean, with the title tracks, and as I kept listening, it wasn't like he was off topic. It wasn't like he was like doing like something that was totally left field. I don't know. It was just like, it was interesting to hear him go back to that because a lot of it just felt loose. There was literally
Yeah,
a track like quick where it was just a beat. And I get
yeah.
that, on collab albums or like albums like that, like you'll do that. But it just was like, okay, like this is different. But I do think, if anything, hour and 4 minutes, right? So maybe if it
Something
was
like that.
all the same, it was just them working together, it would have been like repetitive. Because I will say that when I did listen to them separate, because I went through it together at first a bunch, and then I kind of went through it separately. And I was like, okay, separately, I wouldn't even say it's better. It's more enjoyable, but it's like, it was a different listening
I
experience.
think the thing with Earl, sometimes he can be so deep that when he tries to do like the playful stuff and he tries to get a little bit more simple with it, it comes off. He's not known for like vocal inflection, singing, crazy hooks. He's here to give you bars, bruh. So when you listen to an Earl project, you might be a little jaded when you walk in. The whole track is "Don't worry, don't worry." That's not my favorite song. I'm kind of clowning a little bit. But he just kind of left space on this one. There's a beauty to the simplicity for sure. I really vibe with like a lot of these tracks. Like a lot of these beats are just amazing. A-OK is fucking amazing. Frowning face, again, smiling. Amazing beat, and I really appreciate like how he highlights the Surf Gang production. And that's kind of just how you have to look at it, bro. And I don't want to say background music, but I'm going to say it. It's kind of like good background music, like you in the loading zone, I'm in the lobby and I got this playing. It's slapping. I can't say I don't like it. It's just, I feel like if you come in with a certain perspective, you're going to be jaded and you're going to say it might not be what you're looking for, which I understand.
Hell yeah, especially looking at Surf Gang. It's a collective. It's producers that they are choosing to work with for a whole project. I mean, they literally every track. They have the intros, everything, Surf Gang. But then they have the little other things where, what's this? You know how like every once in a while, yeah, what's this? I love when that pops up. Surf Gang is then that brings this tape together. Them executive producing, putting the project together, pretty much bringing the soundscape to life. I do think that kind of helps it as well, but it also kind of makes it flow all together sometimes, especially when you get into the Earl part. Because Earl gets into that lackadaisical flow, and then he's doing it over these wavy Surf Gang beats, and some of it, like I said, is just a beat, and it's like, okay, we're just letting the beat ride, right? Some of it he lets the beat ride, and then it on the start, and then he's letting the beat ride for like 30 minutes, and the track's only a minute long. And I get that. It's cool. It was a vibe. And then Mike's more so talking stuff, hopping all over, but he has fear with Neonte. I know you love Neonte. We both love Neonte. That was crazy. Neonte went off. That was a crazy ass track.
That was crazy.
I mean, Mike, and when we get into that part of the album, Afro, Minty, Fear, like that was a crazy back-to-back trifecta. Like it was flowing. Like I feel like Mike hit a point on the project where I was like, okay, man, this is great. And Earl's, it was more so the whole rather than certain tracks. Because he had less features. Even the title tracks, it's almost like they went into each other. But don't get it twisted, right? I mean, we have, on Mike's part, we have Back LA from Nikhil Smith. And then we have Back Home, where you literally talk about like, okay, I was in LA, I'm back home. And back home, the hoes love it. They love it. They love that I'm back home. I'm popping out here, right? And that's what I'm saying. They both, it was dope to see that they both had their own tales. They both had their own like perspectives on the album.
Super interesting concept, bro. We really don't be giving producers enough props, but this is kind of a trend that we've been seeing over the years recently as these producer collaboratives that be like doing these crazy things, bro. Another one, Real Bad Man. They're fucking nice. Like these guys are nice. Artists are like pulling together, make dope sounds, dope tracks. I really like that, how much they highlighted them and pushed them to the forefront, because they're really talented, bro. Like you can tell, like this group is really talented and they know how to make a soundscape, like you said, and put it all together sonically. Even if the topics are different, at least you still get the same vibe overall. That kind of plays into what I said earlier about how it's great background music because it's the same vibe. I could be playing it. there's 32 tracks. It could be one of any of the 32 tracks, and I could damn near mistake it for another part of the album, whether it's Earl or Mike. I really like their press tour, bro. Like, Earl even said it on an interview that he's really fond of the Surf Gang production, how emotive it is with how simplistic it is, and he kind of trying to emulate that with his rapping style on top of that, and doing something a little bit more simple, just so that, you know, you can get a little bit more feeling out of it, you know? Because I feel like sometimes when you listen to music, bro, and you get really deep lyrics, your brain kind of goes elsewhere, you know? Like, you hear something that you relate to, and then you start thinking about, like, you know, an experience you had, right? But if you keep it real simple and you keep it down to the basics, it's easier to live in that moment. That is something I really appreciate from Earl on this, and I think a lot of people, it's going to go over their heads because they're like, what's up, bro? I want bars, bro. Talk about your life, bro. Like, no, you get what you get, bro. It's
okay,
art, bro.
but hold up. Not to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
see, and I'm not going to say it's simplistic because Earl's an Earl, bro. I mean, he's a top tier MC. Now, he might be kind of mumbling, using vocal effects sometimes. Like, some of these tracks, I think, felt like Mike was more talking stuff on this. Mike was more aggressive. He had more variety as far as, like, he was being reflective on certain tracks, and he almost had tracks where he was like, I'm the man now. Like, I've been, you know, I'm doing this. I got the pocket. I'm that G. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what's up with me. While Earl was more consistently reflecting. Like, he was looking back. And that's why I say on this project, it's almost like we're going back. We're going back, man. And I think for certain people, and even for me, it was weird to go back. Like, Earl's been kind of in a more positive mindset, and he is still positive on this. Because if you look at the title tracks, it's like, this too shall pass. Smiley to happy. Like, it's almost like he's talking about transitioning, or like some of these tracks, it's almost like he's just floating on about some stuff, and he's like talking about how he overcame it or how he's dealing with it, right? But looking at, you know, some of the details of this project, it was recorded between 2023 and 2025. And looking at that time frame, you know, they had been dropping projects of different soundscapes, of different, like, what they were talking about, like different topic matters. So it almost makes sense. Like, this is a vibe, and it was like a certain period.
Okay.
And you see that. This wasn't what I was expecting. But I do like that they did something I didn't expect, because it still worked. And it was like, okay, I got different stuff, because as you said earlier, like, if they were all on the same tracks, it might have all blended in. And maybe that's why they made that call.
I think that, like, the length for both of them was really good, because they both like to do, you know, somewhat shorter albums sometimes. You can separate them. You can listen to one or the other, and they're going to be pretty good lengths. Mike is so crazy with the amount of tracks he can squeeze into a 30-minute project. I'm like, how is this 20 songs, bro? What are we doing? But it works. I definitely can see, like, Live, Laugh, Love was more about Earl in the present, in the moment. The cover photo, right? It's how he's been looking. He's got the glasses now. He's sitting out in his backyard. He's good, bro. He's chilling. And then
He's unk, bro. You hear that on here, though. He brings it up, how, like, hey, man, I've been doing this for years, man. You know, I'm, you know, like, we've been in this lane. People copy us. Mike says that too. Like, people been copying me as well. But Earl's obviously been in the game for longer. They've both been mentoring each other to a certain degree. But Earl obviously is the OG mentor. So it was interesting to hear him almost take that unk role, you know, fully. Because while Mike was more talking stuff, he was still being reflective. But it was almost like, man, I'm making it and people are still hating on me. Earl was almost like, man, that'll pass. You get what I'm saying? Like, I did see it. The more I'm listening to it, I'm seeing it almost like that. It's like Tour de France. Like, I'm dodging the morgue, I'm dodging the pin. Like, Mike was almost confrontational. Like, man, I've been dealing with people hating on me. POMPEII is a volcano. You erupt, man. I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm blowing up. You know what I'm saying? Yep. While Earl, utility, right? It's more so like, I'm looking at it like, man, I see this, but, like, it doesn't really affect me as much anymore. It's more so like, that's life. I'm A-okay. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. But when listening, it was a lot. And it was a lot to listen to it together. But I do enjoy this project. The singles also threw me off a little bit. with Lead Belly, because Lead Belly on
Mm-hmm.
Earl's side was kind of more upbeat, but that also had Mike on it, and Mike, like I said, was more upbeat. But then you have Rectangle Ends before that, which was crazy. That was a highlight on first listen. I really rock with that. But that was a weird track. Earl, it's almost like he went more left, but it also was like from a more like OG thing. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think maybe you understand what I'm saying.
I think the listener gets it too. They're attacking the same issue from different angles, you know. Earl's always been a little bit older than Mike. He's always been kind of like seen as the mentor of the two of them. And that's why, you know, some critics would say that Mike copied Earl, and they would say that he shares a sound. You know, when in reality, doing the same thing, they're together, and it's just from two different angles.
Rectangle Lens, bro. I'm saying that was a highlight. That's what I'm saying. React was another highlight for Earl, because like he said, they can't even afford to get active because they know how we gonna react. Mike was reacting. He was talking stuff. He's not calling people out by name, but he's almost like, yo, y'all copying me, y'all biting me. And Earl's kind of like, man, y'all can't even pay me to react. Because if you know what's up and you really go direct, you know what's up. Like, I'm chilling. You can't affect me. You feel me? Like, it is what it is, bro. Like, I've done what I've done. Nothing you could do, even if you copy me in for some reason, or you doing what I'm doing and people like it more. Like, I'm doing what I want to do. And I did appreciate that. Earl bringing that perspective. Sisyphus up, but then it goes back down, right? And then Sisyphus, right? He's punished, right? He's supposed to bring the big thing up, and then it goes back down. He's basically doing it forever. It's a repeating thing. It's pointless. But at the end of that track, you hear him kind of say, like, it's still progress. Like, he's looking past that. He's looking past people talking negative. He's looking past his own thoughts of being like, I'm an imposter, or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I've been through the people detracting from what I bring to the table. And even though it might feel it's the same, it's the repeating pattern, I know that we're going to get over this. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? I did like that.
The way that he did it, I felt like stylistically, like it just fits so well. Doing that lackadaisicalness and like the carefree almost, it just plays into the lyrics more, plays into the theming, like the things that you've been talking about. It helps it, you know, and we can sit here all day and say that it was kind of a hard listen, but the message got through, you know.
Hold up. I didn't say all that. I didn't say it was a hard listen. I just said, I know you, but I'm just saying, I'm just correcting you. I didn't say that. I just said it was more so like Mike went first, he went second. So after the first vibe, it was kind of different. But,
well, I mean, listen, bro. Anytime that you got some OG imparting wisdom on you, it's kind of a hard list. I'll say it myself. But we probably closer to age to Mike, you know, and that might be another reason why it resonates more with us, Mike's perspective than Earl's perspective. So he's a whole step ahead of it. I'll resonate more with Mike because I'm still young. I'm still ready to fight. I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, whatever
rebellious
it is.
a little bit, right?
You know, yeah. But I do appreciate Earl's perspective, and I really like how you like encapsulated it about like, you know, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, but it's still progress because it's really hard to kind of envision that, you know. A lot of people view progress as being linear. Point A, point B. But there's point A, B, C, D. You know, you got to go a bunch of different places before you get where you want to be. This is really good. And this is a really decisive album. Like, people either hate this album or they love this album. I don't know what it is, people, bro, but it's 2 albums, bro. So there's no way you hate both of them.
Talk about the features on even Mike's half. Like, you have Jizzy. I mean, the bid, it was OD offbeat flow. It had beat changes. And then he picked up on the second half and the feature came in. Not for the win or not for TW with Anissa Kim. Basically, like, not that track. He's saying, like, he's calling him out. Like, what's up, bro? Like, you been biting me, you know, but you're not really about it. You gonna call the police. And then you have Earl basically saying, like, man, you can have it. You know, I'm mad about it, but you can have that, man. I've been through that. You can't call everybody out for biting off you or kind of being influenced, because that's what life is, man. We all are influenced by somebody. We all are looking to someone and seeing what they're doing. Maybe taking a little bit from it. Maybe not everything, but something. And I think as I listen to this, and maybe when we get into like the top 10 later this year, like maybe I'll be higher on this album because I am seeing more of Earl doing that with the vocal effects and stuff, you know, on like Tally 2 NA. I don't know if that's how you say it. You know, I'm slaughtering the tracks, maybe the titles, but You know, we keep saying but it's like when your uncle is just in the room and he's kind of telling you what's up, like, but like you not really paying attention. But when you pay attention or when certain things happen, it's like, man, I felt that, man. I'm reflecting on it, like I should have listened to that. I do think it's worth a listen. I appreciate the route they went. I do think they can do more tracks together maybe next time. I hope this isn't the only time they do this. Either way, I'll take this.
There's something to be said about what you said about expectations and stuff. You know, like when you're trying to listen to an album and you expect it to be a certain way and it ends up being that way, you're like, man, this is amazing.
Deadly, you and I have been saying this. People online have been saying this. Drop a collab album. And they finally did it. I damn near was surprised. It's like I thought they were gonna make us wait till like they were OGs or something. You know what I'm saying? You know how people do it. They did it.
You know, you're gonna think it's gonna be one way, right? If it does turn out that way, my point is that it's probably gonna grow off of you faster. But then you already turning around the corner, bro. You already saying like, by the time it gets to top 10 album of the year, the video be up there, bro. Because the albums that grow on you are the ones that mean the most.
Earl is one of my favorite artists. Mike has become one of my favorite artists, recently. But Earl, I grew up on Earl. Because listen to some of his old music, how sometimes people say, like, I didn't know what I would hear from Earl at this point. And not from a perspective of, like, I didn't know he would be here, but from a perspective of, like, you listen to, like, Earl, the mixtape when he was first blowing up, like, it's pretty dark. He's always been a really good lyricist, so, like, to hear him go in this kind of lane, it's always been kind of like, oh, like, it's interesting. But I've appreciated it because I do think it's dope to hear you experiment and do different beats and stuff. I do think Mike, he had a little bit more hunger. Like on Afro, man, like when I first listened to this album, Afro hit me. Man, like I love that beat. And then you go right into Minty, and then I already brought up Fear. Like that trifecta was crazy. And Earl, he had like something like that, but it was more so the whole album. Like Mike really went for certain highlights, I feel like. I think they could drop a classic after hearing this, because this was good.
Let me hear it from you, bro. Top 3 tracks, bro. You gotta choose 3 tracks, bro.
Number 1, I'm gonna go Afro. Like I said, first listen, that was the highlight, and I'll repeat this because I really like that song. Number 2, I'm gonna go Fear with Niante. Man, that was a good upbeat track. That's a good track. I could just play casually, I feel like. She gonna F on Lil Tito, pushing P, this Lil NSP Diddy. And then number 3, I'm gonna go Rectangle Lens. I really love that track. So what about you, Deadly? What is your top 3?
I did like what Anicia Kim brought to the table on Not For The Win, It was a nice little space break on Not For The Win when it transitioned. And I really liked what Mike was talking about on the beginning of that. And then I want to show some love to Earl because he had some really good moments on here. The frowny face again, smiling, that beat is insane. I feel like he really did do a lot of justice to the production with how he handled his delivery, and he kind of like let it be at the forefront. And then my last one, I got A-OK, my favorite Earl track on there. The bells, the beat, it was banging, bro. The hook that Earl had on there, I think that was his best hook on the album. All right, man. Well, with that being said, thank you to Earl, to Mike, to Surf Gang, 10K, all the features on here. Y'all give us something to talk about. We love talking about this album. It was a great conversation, I feel like. And if y'all ain't listened to it yet, make sure y'all go listen. Go check out what these artists are doing. These are some of the best lyrical cats in the game right now. If I didn't already say it, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hip Hop Babies, we be putting in that work. Shout out to the best co-host on the planet, Ray. He be putting in that work, He knows ball. He ain't unk, but he knows ball. So, I'm passing off to you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know how it is, Dilly. I appreciate you, man. All listeners, man. I appreciate you listening. We both do, of course. Mike, Earl, Surf Gang. Hey, if we didn't show enough love to Surf Gang, hey, I love damn near all the beats on here. Surf Gang, y'all did y'all thing. Shout out to all the engineers, everybody, all the features. That being said,
peace.